we have to shift that mindset, right? From survival to, okay, now I made it. Now I'm here. Now I can relax. Now I can, again, take my foot off the gas, come up for air, and figure out what's next. But to get to that point, you do have to grind, and you have to make a lot of sacrifices. And, people and things will get lost along the way. And that's just what I'm learning.
You were at the beach? What were we doing?
Yeah, no, I was just, that's basically it, right? I was chilling out on the beach. I was trying to do some work up there, but Wi-Fi was shoddy, so I wanted to be able to come back home and be good for you. But just another day in the life, man. Just sit out on the beach, doing your work and just thinking about life and all that good stuff that we're gonna get into.
Yeah, we've been working together for years now, and never met or seen each other. So it's nice to meet you in person. So you run like Modern Athletic Health, the website, and
right.
What else do you have going on?
Yeah, I got Modern Athletic Health. I've had that since 2015. I started a supplement company back in 2017, Human Performance Science. So I got that on the side, just a little passion project, nothing too crazy. You don't put a lot of time or energy or effort into it. It's kind of just one of those things I did for myself, because I figure I'm using all these supplements all the time. I might as well, see if I can turn it into a little side business, get some other connections going and things like that. So we have the supplement company, Modern Athletic Health. We have Winfluence, Presence Media Group. It's like my marketing company, Winfluence. We do all these giveaways and celebrity and athletes and musicians, public figures. Yeah, we work with micro influencers. So we're doing a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, there's always something going on, right? Got to stay busy, keep the mind going.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep the money flowing, the mind going.
Yeah. So you keep the mind going, the money flows. So that's
so what's one of the latest projects you're working on right now with anyone or anything in particular?
Right now, I'm spending the majority of my time. The influencer space is just huge. Everyone is, especially when 2020 hit. That's really when I was really well positioned at that point, anyways. But when so many people were forced to go digital, we just really saw the demand for that kind of explode. And basically, the last 2 years has been, just servicing all those clients, making new connections, new clients, and then figuring out ways to kind of scale up. Because at this point, it's almost like I'm not even taking on new clients, which is it's a cool position to be in, but it's weird because I'm so used to, that mindset of, going out there, hustling, grinding, drumming up business, trying to, put yourself out there in a world where there's, so many people doing these types of things. Now we can't really even keep up with it. So, going through the hiring process, looking for project managers, you name it, we're just, full on growth right now, full on growth stages. And it's a weird position to be in, because I come from the mindset of, that underdog role, right? Where you always feel like you're kind of playing catch up, playing from behind. And it's like, I was thinking about this the other day, when I knew it was coming on, I was thinking about it. It's like you play that underdog role. You can only play the underdog role for so long. And then one day you wake up and you're like, wait, you get to that point where you almost feel like you quote made it. And then you kind of have to take a step back and just enjoy it for a second, but then think what's next? Because, people like you and me, I think we're pretty much one and the same. There's really no stopping. There's no turning it off. Right. So it's just kind of one thing to the next, but also along the way, learning to kind of slow down, take a breath, and enjoy the journey. Because at the end of the day, you only go so fast, so long, and you got to have some fun along the way too. So.
Yeah, no, that sounds so much like something I would say, because you get a few minutes to enjoy the success, and before you can't sit there and revel in it for too long. And I take psychedelics from time to time, and that's typically when it all hit me, you made it, you're doing it, this is it, this is what you wanted,
right? What else are you looking for? What else are you trying to do? But I hear you.
Well, yeah, so
and I've never done psychedelics, but I would love to hear more on that, your thoughts with it. But
it's like I never even stop and take a moment to look at the mountain or the trees or feel the breeze and,
Yep. That's why I want to be out here. I mean, it's a blessing to just, you have your own your spot, like I'm here on the beach or in the mountains, to just, kind of take a step back and once in a while, like just look up, come up for air and be like, all right, there's still work to be done. There's still so much more we want to accomplish, so much more we want to do. But, I'm 33. I don't know how old you are, but it really took me, it took me about, 10 years of really being fully self-employed on my own, figuring it all out to get to this point today. And it's still fresh, basically January it hit me, that this was the year to kind of take a step back, but, take a step back in the short term, but then full speed ahead, basically since like February, March, it's been awesome.
So you haven't felt any of this economic downturn? Honestly,
no. Nice. I see it all around. So I feel it personally. I mean, here and there a little bit, obviously, like things like inflation and like gas is insane. Right. Things like that, you feel it, you notice it. But I think if you're smart with your money and finances, along the way, you're prepared for these types of things and you ride it out. And that's really, that's been my mindset for the last, 5 years, really, when I started to really educate myself, because my whole family, we were never into like the markets or, investing or retirement funds. Like my dad was a self-employed, restaurant owner. My mom, she just retired actually this year. God bless her, worked in the school system. So she, I've seen two ends of the spectrum, where that job security, that steady, day job with the benefits and the paid vacations and all that stuff. And then I've seen the other end on my dad, who was basically working 7 days a week my entire life. And, God bless him, it was all he knew, it was all, he thought he was doing the right thing, but he was never present. Right. So I learned from that experience of, you can work 7 days a week, you can grind, you can make all the money in the world, you can have all the things, which we did. And then we lost it in 2008 with the financial crisis. But I mean, coming from seeing that, basically having everything handed to me as a kid up until I was like 18, 19 years old, I was an entitled little shit, man. And, the world comes crashing down around you and you kind of kick into survival mode. And I tried working for people. I got out of college. I tried following that, tried and true, steady. I almost became a cop, actually. And nice. Well, I'm glad I didn't. Everything works out or doesn't work out for a reason. But totally. Yeah, man, it's a crazy world, crazy life. But just find your place and make the best of it. Enjoy it.
Yeah, your
spread
path.
Some love, spread some light. Yeah.
You look like you might have taken a psychedelic or two, but
I get that a lot, man. No one believes me when I tell them. I've never done I smoke a ton of weed, don't get me wrong, but I mean, that's it. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm super interested in psychedelic stuff.
Well, in time, when the time comes or whatever, it does, it calls you, it comes to you, whatever, when the time is right, and or whatever. That's kind of one of the philosophies of psychedelics. So when the time is right, it'll be right, but it's definitely not necessary for a happy, healthy life, especially if you didn't become a cop. If you had become a cop, you might have needed it sooner, because that shit I was in the Army and I've been to war twice, and that kind of shit just fucks with you. And I'm just now sleeping 10 years later. I got out when I was like your age. Wow. I went in at 26, got out around 33, and it just took a long time. And it's not like I'm walking around with these disturbing thoughts or nightmares. It was more like this physical jarring, just like I couldn't rest. I couldn't let go of to relax until
your body was just you're still like in that mindset of survival, right? And that shit, that's stress, that's constant. That parasympathetic versus sympathetic nervous system, all that good stuff. Yeah, it's a lot, man. It's a lot to break out of and release and let go, like you said, and really just relax so your body can rest.
I've been meditating ever since. Yeah. Well, and I've been meditating for years, but I just got the actual training for transcendental meditation.
Sure.
And it just, I think that's playing a huge part in it. I'm smoking less sativa, which might, like, I feel like that was not helping me sleep. I'm smoking like more indica.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, everyone's a little bit different. It's kind of like, if you have ADD and they give you Adderall, it's going to calm you down. But I mean, if you have any issues, you're smoking a heavy sativa, I mean, that's going to exacerbate it. You're going to be feeling it. You're going to be mind racing, all that stuff. I notice it.
Yeah.
And I didn't used to, when I first started using it, it was kind of like you could smoke whatever. I didn't know, it all felt good. Yep. But then you really start to educate yourself and understand, all the different, the terpenes and the cannabinoids that are in there and how they really are affecting, and all the research that's coming out. I mean, it's an exciting field for sure. That and, the psychedelics, the therapeutic benefits of it, all like the psilocybin, microdosing, all that good stuff. I think the research we'll see coming out, especially as it all gets kind of legalized and pushed through the regulations, we'll start to see some really interesting research. I'm pretty excited because I notice and I experiment with my body a lot with like nootropics and, the marijuana and other types of supplements and what have you. And the marijuana definitely adds a layer to it. There's some serious effects within the body that I just don't think anyone really understands from a medical standpoint yet. So I'm excited to see where that all goes.
What kind of nootropics are you experimenting with?
So I use Shilajit, fulvic acid a lot. I like that. I like alpha GPC is something I just reintroduced that I've noticed a big effect in like energy and motivation, just like kind of enhancing my mood. Area Gerensis is kind of like a stimulant nootropic. That's something I really like. I'm trying to think of the other one. I mean, I use like a lot of the different carnitine salts, which can have some effects. I mean, there's a whole laundry list. I can't really, off the top of my head, remember what they are. I just kind of have them sitting in a little cabinet, and every morning I pull them out. I know what they are. I did the research. I know what I'm supposed to be taking, right? But
L-carnitine. L-carnitine salt. Oh, okay, yeah.
I know L-carnitine. That's good stuff.
I need to
There's
buy
one
more.
other one. There's one other one that I really like that I take alongside the alpha GPC. Citicoline, the CDP. Yeah, I want to say CDP5. I don't want to give out the wrong information, but citicoline, it's called.
Okay, I'm interested in all that stuff just for optimization. I want to be my best self, and
For sure,
I do like TRT and a little bit of HGH, but I cut back. You ought to be able to tell these guns because it's so minuscule. What I'm not trying to be like. I don't want to be risky and take too much so it's just like whatever I do, it's very like microdose level.
Yes. And I can echo that. I've been on TRT for probably since I was like 25 because I did a lot of dumb shit as a kid that I didn't know what I was doing. Lots of steroids when everyone was trying to be huge and jacked and strong and all that fun stuff. And I had no idea what I was doing, and I totally screwed my system up. So I know, and I'm not embarrassed to say, it's a learning process. It's life. I had terrible low T, terrible symptoms, at the mid 20s. And I've been on it for a while, but I've experimented with the doses as well with my doctors, and that stuff's strong, man. You don't need a lot. I've gone up to try to like mimic the effects of like a small cycle, and it just physically I was fine, but mentally I didn't like it. I did not like the way I felt.
Exactly.
It's not worth it.
You want to be balanced.
And that kind of, it was causing lots of anxiety, lots of mood swings. So, I mean, that stuff's all true when those stories you hear. It's not stuff to kind of be messing around with, but especially
Yeah, I did. I remember as a teenager, I got like a cycle, but it was like pills, and I did like 3 or 4 weeks or 6 weeks or something. I know I didn't mess anything up there. I really started taking it around 35, which I hear, Joe Rogan.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's an appropriate age. Yeah, I mean, I can get on board with that for sure.
Yeah, just to keep the levels. I want them to be slightly higher than normal, but for like a normal, healthy 20-something-year-old. And
sure.
I had regular like T levels. I went to this clinic and I just wanted to be kind of more jacked, and she gave it to me ultimately after not that much convincing. She was like, all right, fine.
Right. It was a little too easy, but
Yeah, but I'm not, I never, I just, like I said, I don't think I'm abusing it. There's been moments where I remember I took like Clomid or some kind of anti-estrogen thing.
Yeah.
And then I know there's been 2 instances where I've like lost it and like threw shit because,
Really?
Yeah.
The Clomid did that to you? That's interesting.
Well, and I don't know if it was a coincidence or just, well, or it was the Clomid, but it definitely coincided together. And I was like, I'm just going to, if I do take that, when I do take it, I'm just going to, be very cognizant of it.
Yeah, of course.
Because, I mean, I threw some the hot dogs at the wall. I was mad.
You threw hot dogs at the wall?
Yeah.
Okay. How'd that go?
And left a little stain, and I had to clean it up. But it wasn't ultimately like I didn't hit. It wasn't terrible. But you gotta just.
I'm just getting a visual of hot dogs flying at the wall. So that's what I'm working with right now.
It happened really fast, and I got. I'm over it, but anyways, so interesting. That is interesting because we are like, it's similar how, like, it's crazy how how similar a lot of us are. We're going through our lives, we're doing our thing, but a lot of us do similar kind of like daily routines. We're trying to take care of ourselves and be optimal, and but also have that like the work-life balance.
Yep. Yeah, and that's an ongoing learning process, right? Like everyone's going to have different thresholds of what they what they think is an appropriate balance. Everyone's going to have different thresholds of what the people in their lives are going to be able to keep up with and kind of handle. And, not to get into too much detail, but I mean that was a kind of going back to what I said earlier. Like this year being the year where I had to kind of take a step back and refocus and reassess. I lost. I was engaged for 2.5, 3 years, and I ultimately lost that relationship due to my work habits. And that's really all there is to it. I lost a relationship. I became a version of myself that I had never seen before, that nobody recognized. My friends, my family, my ex-fiance. I basically lost myself for 2 years. And I mean, would I do it again? Yeah. If knowing what I know now, I'd do it again. But I'd make sure that I was staying, keeping that balance and giving the time and the energy and the effort to the people around me, because it's tricky to navigate life when you're trying to build so much on your own, but then also, stay present, with the people and the things around you at the same time, and especially working from home, especially with COVID, being in the same spot with someone and, not actually being physically present or, mentally present when they're sitting right next to you. And it's like, you're living 2 separate lives. And, it's an interesting journey. I mean, again, like I just say it all the time, like life's weird, life is weird, and it's also, it's weird. It's weird. But it's what you make it. It's like, at this point, you kind of have to let go of the expectations and, just keep an open heart, open mind. And as long as you're doing right by everyone that you're, kind of coming into contact with, everything will work out. I mean, that's basically my mindset at this point. I got so fixated and focused on that growth that, I was even neglecting myself. Like there was days and weeks where I, would not even like shower because I didn't feel like I had the time. Like I didn't want and that's just it's kind of one of those, that's like a little transcendental kind of thing that you go through where you really have to kind of lose yourself for a while to find yourself again. And it sounds like super cliche, and a lot of people I don't even think get to that point where they lose themselves because they're constantly surrounded by so much external stimulation and trying to keep up with society around them, that they never lose themselves, but they never find themselves too. So I embrace the solitude. Does it get lonely sometimes? Sure. I have great friends, great family, but you know, learning what I learned, you know, basically by losing you know, what I thought was a forever relationship, you know, someone I was going to get married to, right? That's, you know, a pretty big deal. Over work, over money or business or whatever. It really put things into perspective for me. So that's the lens I'm kind of working through and living through now, where it's, you know, I don't want to do too much, but I know in my heart that I'm not going to stop. So it's really just working smarter, not harder, you know, things like that, trying to delegate, let go of taking all of the responsibility on as a business owner. You know, you have to, I'm sure, I mean, I know you get it. You have to know everything that's going on. And you have to basically plan for X, Y, and Z that could potentially, there's so much to constantly be thinking about. And I think a lot of people, you know, fail to understand that when they meet entrepreneurs or people who are like us, who are self-employed, who rely on themselves fully to survive, to make a living. We have to shift that mindset, right? From survival to, okay, now I made it. Now I'm here. Now I can relax. Now I can, again, take my foot off the gas, come up for air, and figure out what's next. But to get to that point, you do have to grind, and you have to make a lot of sacrifices. And, you know, people and things will get lost along the way. And that's just what I'm learning, you know?
Yeah, you're young, but that's harsh though. And I'm sorry, but
no, it's a learning process, and it's life.
Yeah.
It's life.
You know, there's something beautiful about the solitude though. And, you know, I get a few minutes a day when I'm meditating, and otherwise there's so much information constantly streaming through. And like you said, we have to be thinking about so many different variables all day, every day, and I'm constantly checking the numbers and making sure we're on track, because I have built, you know, like I've built these relationships and these like bills, essentially, like, you know, I pay for promotion on your website, and I pay for promotion through these podcasters and YouTubers, and we have schedules and stuff. And last year we were doing so good that we started selling out of, you know, our product. But I had these deals with these people, and we, you know, tens of thousands of dollars on the line for promotional campaigns and stuff, and like months in advance we've agreed to it, and now I'm like, well, fuck, I'm supposed to pay you, but we don't have that much inventory. Right. But it's a learning process, because I kept my commitments. We made it hurt, like we had enough to kind of like it could have just done a lot better, and actually we probably did lose some money, but
but like you said, at the end of the day, you know, keeping your commitment, you know, in the short term, it might not be the most, you know, beneficial or, you know, profitable thing, but you have to, because without that, what else do you have? You know, if you can't keep a commitment, then you're not going to get very far. Not going to last very long.
Yeah. All of my relationships, most of them, you know, are based on my word, you know, like, you know, what I said I was going to do and what they said they were going to do. And I rarely do contracts. And if I do, it's like for a one-time thing. And I'm really shying away from them, because like last year we were going to Jorge Masvidal. We were making like almost $500,000 a month last year. And they come to me with Jorge Masvidal. He wanted $40,000 a month to sponsor for him to like promote SHEATH. And I almost did it. Like, but had I done that, it just what I was like overstepping what we were capable of. We would not have been able to maintain that, because then that we have like an economic downturn, sales kind of start going down, and they're going to be, you know, then I would have made this commitment. So, but I remember telling his management, I was like, just let's do a month. Like, if it's as good as you say it is, then we won't have a problem. Why do we have to do this contract?
Exactly. You know? No,
And
logical.
they were like, they were like, nah, we're not doing that. And I was like, well, then we can't, and then I can't work with you. And I ended up signing Brandon Moreno, UFC champion, for $4,000. Like, so a 10% of the cost.
Yeah.
But here's now, granted, Jorge's a bigger star, but we still didn't make our money back with Brandon. So like, there's a
4 to 40. You got to be wondering how much underwater you would have been on that deal. So no, I hear you. Like, I'm the same way with contracts. You know, sometimes you absolutely do need them. Some of my best relationships and partnerships just over the years and recently, they come from just that. You know, I keep my word, you keep your word. We're all making money. We're all happy. You know, everyone's doing the right thing, and you know that's the easiest way to do it. And I love those relationships. Don't get me wrong. But no, contracts suck. But sometimes,
Of course. Now, I'm not saying I don't do them, but like recently, we were working with this guy, Tim Dillon. He's a comedian, podcaster, and so his management company reached out to me. Well, prior management. Long story. Anyways, another comedian, Andrew Santino, kind of a big. He's been on Rogan a few times. He's got his own.
I'm familiar
podcast
with the name. Yep.
He's got like red hair, and Bobby Lee, who's another semi well-known comedian in like that circle of Joe Rogan type thing, which we can, like, I try to stay in that umbrella of people because we have UFC, we got comedy, we got podcasts, and it's all dudes, and it's all in our demo, and they kind of work together. Like if you hear me on this podcast and then you see this UFC, this fighter wearing it, or any kind of combination, then it all like triangulates, and and then you're like, oh yeah, SHEATH, and then eventually when it's time to buy underwear, you give us a shot. You
got all the dots and you're connecting them, and then it's just that recognition, that multiple points of contact. Exactly. It's a great way.
It's
smart.
Working. It's
definitely,
working.
Definitely works.
Because if you scatter yourself out to too many different areas where they don't triangulate and connect, then you're not getting those multiple hits from different angles, and that's what I think is very helpful. But so we were going to go with this guy Andrew Santino and his new podcast, there's some agencies where they want to they overcharge, and some agencies are like more reasonable, and I feel like this guy charges like twice, 2, 3, 4 times what they should for their numbers, but he's getting somebody's paying it, like $15,000 for a 1-minute spot. It's like
on the podcast,
where there's multiple spots. Like we're not even the main. It's like, dude, I can't, like, I don't want to get caught like lost in the middle of a ad read. Anyways, so I ended up pulling out of that deal because he wanted to do a 4 deal minimum, and like that's $50,000. Right. Let's try one. But they didn't want to do that, so
Yeah, no, I mean, like you said, like scattering out, it's good to an extent. You get to test if you can test some multiple, outlets, channels, try to see what, maybe what new audiences the products resonate with. But that's tough because, like you said, the rates are in a lot of cases pretty extreme, and they're not willing for whatever reason to just let you, give it a shot one time. I mean, but it also goes back to the point where, if you're not having multiple touches, then you're not really going to make that big of an impact anyways. If you only did, say one spot, as opposed to, being on there 3, 4, or 5 times. So, I can look at it from both sides of the table, being in that industry, selling campaigns and coming up with campaigns and doing placements for clients. I can look at it from that perspective, but I also, have a consumer brand. So I look at it from that perspective too. And I think that's one of the things that's actually helped me, create the types of relationships and, just being able to really empathize and understand the business owner side of it. And, be able to kind of really be customizable and flexible with my clients, because I also sell products. I also have a business to run and budgets to keep track of. So I get it. I get the, the ROI, and, that's king. And, I'm of the mindset, I'm like you, where it's like, I would rather do it once, do a really great job, and then you'll come back. And I don't have to worry about, what we're going to do 6 months down the line or 3 months down the line. We'll do it one time, see what you think, we'll adjust it. If you want to come back and do something different, we'll do it again. But, you just got to trial and error, and not lock yourself into something that's going to put you underwater. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just being really careful now. And I've been a good, they say, like, judge of who's hot and who's not. And so I'm just going to keep going with my gut. And it's usually if I like it, then I'm going to promote it. And if I don't like it, I might still do it, but the numbers have to work. We just tried this new guy, Popcorn Planet. He's a YouTuber.
Okay.
They were just covering the Johnny Depp trial, but man, they were fucking getting millions of hits each video. And we murdered. Like, he gave us such a good rate, like a $10 CPM. Shout out, Andrew.
That's solid.
It fucking, dude, it was so good. And so that was trying something new. He wasn't in our circle, but he actually got referred to us by this other guy who is the Quartering, another YouTuber who does just like, Elon Musk is buying Twitter and like crying faces. All the like the left are all crying.
Oh,
faces.
Elon, yeah. Oh, good old Elon. Love him.
Yeah. Are you in the crypto?
Oh yeah. Yes. I can painfully admit that I bought on the way down. I added. I bought pretty high on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I don't know. But, it's like they say, don't invest what you're not willing to lose. So you got to go into it with a mindset of this could go to zero. And if you're not willing to lose all of that money, then don't do it in the first place. And that's where I'm at right now. It's not looking good, but, it's not like trading options and all that wild stuff where you see. Yeah. I do
you're
that
not
too.
Go underwater. Yeah.
No, I do that too. But it's not like a guaranteed L if your contract or the stock goes sideways for a week and not guaranteed to be out that money. You just got to kind of wait. I mean, I don't think anyone really know. I'm sure there's people out there who know what's going to happen with all the crypto stuff. I don't think anyone who really knows is talking much about it though. We'll see. I don't know at this point. If you asked me 6 months ago, I was all gung ho. I was like, yeah, we're going to 100K. Bitcoin will be 100K by this time. And I had some big plans that happened. But here we are. So it's whatever. That's life. Life's weird. I didn't want to buy it when everyone was jumping on board and hooting and hollering and pounding the table about it. And then it's weird. It's the psychological aspect of trading and investing and all that. That's the hard part, man. The rest of it is just time and patience, time and research. But the psychological part is wild. And I like to think of myself as a pretty strong-minded, intelligent, capable person. A lot of self-control, right? And just ever since I got into the market, I've definitely noticed my stress levels increased because it's kind of like market hours. There's like my phone's going crazy, notifications, left and right, and it's like information overload. There's so much going on, especially with the economic climate in the world. Just with everything going on, I think this is such a, again, I'm only 33. I haven't been through a lot of these types of cycles, but it's, I don't think this is like anything anyone's ever seen before, obviously, for a number of reasons. So who knows?
Right. Yeah. I'm so deep that it's like, I'm in it for the long haul. And I think it'll come back, but there was just so much money pumped into the system this time last year. It really, hit a pinnacle.
It definitely, it skewed everything, and it kind of just blew everything way out of proportion, I think. The use cases are there. We'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of coins kind of disappearing, like we saw with Luna recently, and all those things. I think within the next 6 months, a year, we're going to see everything kind of get weeded out. And then hopefully, the champions, the ones that are going to actually, really survive for the long haul, like you said, those will start to come back and we'll start to feel a little bit better about our decisions.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Luna, that was ugly. That's fucked up. Oh, I was thinking of like the NFTs though, like all these people that bought these like multi-million-dollar NFTs.
No, I never got into that.
Me either. I'm glad, because I feel like that would, I mean, I feel like that's just like the $12 million lazy monkey or bored monkey.
Yeah,
is
that
like,
stuff's wild. The Bored Apes, all that.
Yeah.
I never really I mean, I understand it. It's not for me. It was one of those things that I guess when you have, you know, tens of millions, you know, everything kind of, you know, that perspective of what's worth it or not worth it, or what you're willing to take a flyer on, it all changes. But I never really understood that. I mean, I get the concept of like owning it and it's yours digitally, but I mean, it's kind of, it goes back to that whole thing that, and I'm not sure of the exact phrase, but it's like, or who even said it. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but like, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy to do it, or something like that. You'll own nothing and be happy doing it. Yep. Yeah. So it's kind of like all of these digital, it's scary. It's like, I'm staying cognizant of it, right? You have to stay cognizant of it, but it's also like, you can't, I fell down that rabbit hole for a while. All the conspiracies.
Me too. I'm still in it.
Yeah, I'm in it, but it's like, I'm in it, but it's like, you have to be able to kind of look up and see the world for what it is too. Otherwise you'll get lost down there, man. And that's kind of, I think, going back to earlier when I was saying, like, you know, I kind of lost myself for a while, and it's, and why people don't believe me that I haven't taken psychedelics. It's like, you just, when you have that, and I think it's what goes back to the solitude, you have that time alone, to get into that state, and the meditation is a huge part of it, but you really, your eyes open up to, you know, the layers of the onion start to really peel back, and you can see, you know, what's going on around you. And that's, we don't really know what that is necessarily, but you can see that it's maybe not necessarily the most pleasant things, but you got to make life pleasant for yourself, and try not to save the world. So.
Yeah, just like turning off the news really can help with all of that. It's all just like a distraction. Gay rights, I mean, like gay rights, love gay rights, trans, all the rights. Everybody should have all the rights.
Yeah, all of it. I mean, it's wild that we even have to. It's wild, and it's unfortunate that we even, as a society, have to debate these things. Why is it not?
Well, we don't have to debate it. I don't think. Right. I feel like they put it in. They put it out there like it is a debate. I'm like, I don't mind. Go to the bathroom.
Really, no, it's the truth. It's the narrative that's being, you know, kind of projected and cast on all of us. And, you know, because you look around, you're like, you'll see it on the news, but it's like, you don't see that walking down the street. I don't see that with anyone. I don't, which is, it's great not to see it, but then you're being told that it's there, and it's like, well, if you say so. But if there were no issues like that, then a lot of people in Washington would not have jobs. So
exactly,
you know, if they're solving problems, then they have no jobs. So that's kind of my mindset is, there's always going to be a problem, and they're going to keep getting bigger and badder. So we feel like we need something there to kind of support us and save us, but it doesn't look like that's He
said they create a problem. I mean, create a problem so they could be the solution for the problem, and you got to come to them. And I mean, that's my whole conspiracy.
Great business model.
Yeah,
great business model. It's not the way to manage hundreds of millions of people or billions of people, but it's what it is.
Dude, it's like they kick a little, like they disturb the beehive, and then we don't pay attention to all of the looting of the tax dollars that's occurring, and just going into some military black hole expense budget, you know.
Yeah. Well, hopefully whatever they're spending it on, they come up with something fun and exciting. Because I'm ready. I'm ready for the, you know, cue the UFOs, the alien invasion, right? That's
I like it.
Waiting for now.
Optimism. Yeah, I heard that they were trying to evacuate LA and New York so that they could remodel them as these smart cities. And you know, but I heard it once, but it really stuck. It was probably like Alex Jones or something. And
are you talking back maybe like during COVID times?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. So and people just, you know, make a hypothesis is like, this could be happening. I don't know. And with Charles Schwab talking about you know, you're not going to own anything, and you're going to love it, or whatever. I don't think it's Charles Schwab, but it's it's something like that. Klaus.
It's like Klaus. Hans. Is it like Hans Klaus or something like that? It's some sort of. Now I gotta look it up. Now I gotta know, because we're talking. Is that all right?
Yeah. Yes, it is absolutely 100% okay.
Let's
and
see.
I know it has to do with like Davos and the World Economic Forum, and I think it's Klaus Schwab.
Yeah, Klaus is and World Economic Forum. Schwab. Yeah, Klaus.
I don't know if he's one of the like descendants of the Schwab.
Klaus Schwab. Yep. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy about it. But it's crazy. Yeah, I even saw a post about last night. So we were talking about NFTs. I saw a post about SBTs, soul-bound tokens. Have you heard of that one? So yeah, I think it's relatively new. It's the founder of Ethereum. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Something I probably can't pronounce anyways. Ivan, I think, but something that I can't pronounce the last name. But soul-bound tokens. So basically, it's similar to basically like a digital wallet, where they're talking about the use case is like, so for example, maybe you got your degree from a university. They're going to give you your degree in this, so as a soul-bound token in this wallet that, you know, obviously you only have access to it, but then other, you know, institutions can access it and see, or like an employer can see like, oh, you have your degree from so-and-so. But, and I mean, that's cool. Like and their logic is, because people will like sell degrees or sell, you know, certificate, basically anything that can be copied and replicated and forged or, you know, faked, whatever it is. That's the use case that they're putting out there. But in my mind, you know, directly, I just went to, you'll own nothing and be happy about it. So I have a degree, right? But do I have it hanging on my wall? Have you sent it to me? Do I have any proof other than it being out in, you know, in the internet and the cloud and the metaverse? Where is it? Where is my degree?
Right.
Other than on the screen, right? If I don't have this, if this goes away, if the internet gets turned off, or if this app gets deleted, or any number of things happen, what proof of anything that I own exists? It's gone. It's the digital world, and it's fucking scary.
That
it's
is
like what's
freaky.
happening to tangible things. Like there's no cash, no. You don't even have possession of your own degree. I mean, what, you know, what do you have? What do you possess? So that was a wild thought to me. And just the name, like soul-bound, so it's just like, it's weird. It's weird.
That did sound.
Like that.
Does sound.
Yeah. That push.
Where did you go to school?
I went to 6 colleges.
Nice.
Yeah, I went to 6 colleges over 7 years. But I graduated from Westcon. I got a degree in journalism with like a focus on professional writing. I have a minor in criminal justice. I started my master's in sports management. I was GA coaching wide receivers out of East Stroudsburg University, Pennsylvania, back in 2014. I played through college. I played at Westcon, and then I ended up, you know, starting my master's out there. Yeah, so I thought I wanted to get into coaching college football, or maybe even, you know, eventually the NFL. I love the sport. You know, it's been an amazing part of my life for a number of reasons. But then ultimately in 2014, I just, the schedule of it was for who I am and who I was realizing I am. You know, at that time we were talking about almost, you know, 8-9 years ago, the schedule was too much. I didn't have any free time. And it was one of those things where, you know, as a coach, that's basically it. You're like, that's what you do. You're there in the office, you're away from the family and friends and all that stuff. And I felt that right away, and it was just taking way much more time than I wanted to. I still love it. I still think it's an amazing game. You know, physically and mentally, the types of things you have to do, you know, that's a year-round thing. I mean, most sports are, but I feel like football really is the one sport where you don't really have the quote-unquote off-season. You know, because you're always learning, you're always training, you're always, you know, kind of growing as an athlete there. So just the cerebral aspect of the game, and it's one of those things. Yeah, a big part of my life.
I never thought of it like that, in the sense that, because it, from the casual viewer, they're like smashing into each other, you know, and trying to move a ball.
It does look very, very uncoordinated and kind of lackluster. But yeah, you would be surprised the amount of preparation and just the information processing, especially at the highest level. You know, the college level is pretty intense, obviously, but I can't speak to the pro level. But yeah, it's a very intricate game. It's probably more mentally challenging than physically challenging, to be honest.
Wow.
And that's why I love it. Yeah. And that's how I feel about the market too. It's just, like the market, like that's why I love it. Like it's cool to make money and all that, but like the challenge, like you versus you, and then, you know, the research and just having to stay on top of, you know, the world events around you, just anything that's going to keep me, you know, focused, front centered, and, you know, just aware of everything is what I like. I like challenges like that. So
I've been playing chess, and that keeps me.
Okay.
Yeah. You either get into it or not get into it. But I'm like super deep into, like, I play for a couple hours a day, probably.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But it's like, it could be a kit like likened to maybe surfing or a rock wall climbing, because you have to keep your total focus on the game, and so you can't think of anything else. So it's kind of like it just
fully
wipes
immersed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's an awesome feeling to find something that gives you that.
Exactly. So I'm kind of riding that to the point where, but like I have this weird addiction problem where now I'm playing too much.
I'm sorry, there's a massive plane flying over here right now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually a helicopter. Right. I live right by Sikorsky. It's it might be a Black Hawk. It's a pretty giant helicopter.
Usually they come in twos, the Black Hawks.
Yeah, and there's only one, but I'm sure you're familiar with Sikorsky. I live right by there.
Nice.
So we see some pretty cool stuff flying over here once in a while. It's big. Anyways, so go back to the chess, because that's who do you play online? Do you play in person? You do both, or
I do both, but I mainly play online against other people and a similar skill level. And as you get better, they'll put you against better and better people. So it's constantly a challenge. But like when I was younger, I love skateboarding and playing basketball, and like I was addicted to both of those. I would say also because I would just play or skate all day, every day, until I got hurt. Like my body would, like my ankles essentially was what gave out for those.
Oh yeah, skating and basketball. Yeah, that will do it.
Yeah. And with chess, it's like I'll get like burnout on my brain, and but then I'll keep playing, and then I'll start losing because I'm so burnt out and my score goes down, and I'm like, I have to stop. You have to like stop.
No, I know exactly what you mean. You people don't understand, I think, the mental burnout when you're so committed and so kind of, for lack of a better word, obsessed. That has a negative connotation to it, which, an obsession, it's like, lazy people call, committed people obsessed, or, something like that. Something that saying goes.
I like it.
But
I like it.
Yeah, I'm botching everything, all these sayings. But
you're doing great. I like it.
But no, that's awesome to be able to like just kind of eliminate the world around you for a couple hours. Is a gift that not many people give themselves. So
yeah, it's hard to find something. What do you do? Like for that?
I think I'm figuring that out. I think after these last 2 years, I'm definitely with you on the burnout, the mental burnout. It's not easy right now to do the to keep up with the daily routine in terms of work requirements and trying to figure out how to scale everything. And so when it comes time to really, I guess, turn off and distract myself or find release, I honestly just throw on some music and lay down on my bed or the beach, and I don't think about anything.
Nice.
I truly turn it off. And right now that's working for me. It's starting to get a little boring, but I know it's what I need right now. And I'll find, I'll hopefully find something like you have with chess, but it's kind of like, right now it's kind of like a transitionary period of growth, but also like we started off with, just not doing too much and not letting the burnout continue. So I'll find it.
Just turning it off like that, sitting down, laying down, just if you can just do that that's actually probably better, because you need that. It's like a recharge kind of type thing.
It really is. Yeah. And I mean, people always ask, like, you just asked me, like, what do I do for fun? Like, what's my thing? It's like, man, that's it. Like, I'm so happy doing that. It just feels so good. It feels really good to, grind, produce, and then I'll rest. That's it. For me, I love that. I love earning that time. And that's kind of a disordered way of thinking about it, depending on who you ask. Earning your rest. Like, rest, a lot of people say, like, rest is not earned, it's it's a necessity, but I think that's kind of what separates what people are, people who are able to go out and accomplish things and create things, and versus those who are content living a 9-to-5 or building for someone else. And there's nothing wrong with that, don't get me wrong. Like, I almost most of the time envy people who can do that and be happy doing it, because I know I can't. I've tried. Right. I know I can't work for someone else. I know I can't give the energy and the creativity and the effort for anyone else. It's hard to explain, but I'm sure you get that. I wish at times I wish I could be content following the crowd, but I know I can't. I've been there. I came really close last year, actually, before my relationship ended. I thought about shutting it all down. I was taking interviews to go do whatever job I could find that was just gonna pay my bills, give me some benefits, and allow me more of that time to experience life. But I'm happiest when I'm doing what I'm doing right now, which is just kind of taking it day by day and just building and just being my own boss, being able to create and just having those opportunities. So I mean, that's what I'm happiest doing.
Yeah. It's like the grind, the hustle. You're doing it yourself. There, you don't get the turn off though, like that when 5 o'clock hits, you punch out and then you go drink some beers with the bros and watch the TV and just turn it all off. There's no turning it all off, really.
And I try to do it. Don't get me wrong. I try, and sometimes it's enjoyable, but most of the time my mind is elsewhere. And my friends, they notice that. So like I said, I'm personally making that effort to be more present, to set some boundaries with the amount that I work. And then obviously this time of year it's great, lots of concerts, lots of time on the beach, paddleboarding, kayaking, hiking, all that good stuff. I really enjoy doing that. That's really what it's about. I like going places where I can't use my phone because then I'm forced to just be there and accept it. And in the past I wouldn't have even put myself in that position. I'd be like, if I don't have service, I'm not going. If I can't check my emails, I'm not going. But now I understand that that life, the world can wait at times. And
a little while.
Yeah,
it can wait a little while. I was just thinking about, like, with one of the last deals we did, it was, not the last deal, but anyway, we did like this celebrity Instagram thing, and it was like Tori Spelling, and people that are my age remember her from Beverly Hills 90210, and it's like a super mega star. And you were able to connect us, and she ended up ordering more for her and her husband, or reaching out and asking for more. Yeah, and we sent them more. Awesome. But it was just a really cool experience, and I was curious, like, how you were able to manage, these big name connections and stuff.
I mean, yeah, no, that Tori Spelling was one of the very first ones we did back in 2020, right after our thing with Richard Sherman, which was awesome. I don't know if you were a part of that one. We worked with Richard Sherman
missed that
when
one.
he was when he was with the Niners. That was a very serendipitous campaign because they ended up being in the Super Bowl that year, and they were on a tear. Yeah, I think I booked that in like October. They were 8-0, and I mean I became a Niners fan. I was like, damn, we're gonna have a campaign. He's gonna be in the Super Bowl. That's awesome. So that was really cool to have happen. Tori was great. I mean, managing all of these connections, and it's like when people ask me, or just in general, when people ask like, how did you do all this? It's almost like I don't know. I don't know. It's like tunnel vision, and you almost kind of have to kind of dissociate at times when you're like going through these stages of growth and like trying new ideas and stuff, because if you're thinking too much about it, fear and ego and all these things will start to kind of creep in and kind of inhibit you. Whereas back the last 2 years, literally I just I couldn't tell you. If I had to do it again, I don't know that I could. Because it was just one of those things where you just kind of have to show up every day and just make sure you're checking the boxes, whatever those boxes are, because like you don't know what's going to happen day to day, right? So just being prepared and always being vigilant on watch, which again goes back to being able to turn it off. But yeah, managing those connections, it's cool. I mean, they're usually pretty easy. I have some really good relationships with different management teams around the country that have nice rosters of clients, of talent that they work with. I've been able to make some connections with some independent influencers or public figures, celebrities, what have you, who don't use agencies, so to speak, and I'm kind of that main point of contact. And it was a new thing for me, and it was a learning experience. I came from starting Modern Athletic Health, where it was really just content marketing. So there wasn't anyone else kind of involved. We were just doing the product reviews and the content marketing and the social marketing. But yeah, when you start adding in the influencer aspects and working with some of these larger accounts, it's not necessarily that much more tricky, to be honest. I mean, they're people just like us, right? They're people just like us. They're running a business, and it goes back to that thing of having contracts or not having contracts, just building the relationships and they're people. They have large social media accounts. People might notice them walking down the street, but I've learned just treat others. It's so simple, man. Just treat others how you would want to be treated, and we're all people at the end of the day. So that's how I approach all those kind of relationships and those deals. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, they just get in like the network. Well, you meet one person who introduces you to another. You work with one guy. They kind of say, suggest you work with someone else or whatever. I remember like the very first UFC our fighter. We got this fighter, Kyle the Monster Nelson, he just signed another multi-deal contract with the UFC, even though he's 1-2, and he's fighting again soon. But like that led to Team Alpha Male, and then from Team Alpha Male we got a couple other like these smaller fighters, and now Michael Mallet, and you probably don't know him, but anyways, like these guys, they're in the UFC now 5 years later, but from that small kind of like, he was fighting for this small organization in Canada, Kyle was, and he was a champion, but that just kind of snowballed into more fighters now, and to the champion of the world at one point, and he's fighting for the belt again next month. But and I've had guys to talk to him. Jorge Masvidal called me. That was pretty cool when he was trying to like seal the deal. And that was, I've had, it's, I wouldn't necessarily know how it all, I guess I do know how it started. It just starts like with a very small engagement, and then you just keep growing and keep going and keep building that web. It's like a network or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think you hit it right on the head. It's just you just have to start, and not really just put any expectation on where it's going. Like there's no necessarily end goal. It's really just one day at a time, you know, being productive every single day, and just, you know, kind of like you said, starting small and letting it shape itself, right? If you try to fit something into a box that it's just not going to fit, and then what? Then you're sitting there with an empty box, right? You're sitting there, you're forcing something. You have to be able to adapt in life, whether it's with business, whether it's relationships, whatever it is. I mean, if you're so focused on a specific outcome, chances are that's not going to happen. Like people always ask me, especially when I was like doing, you know, startups and writing business plans and stuff. I fucking hate writing business plans. Why? Because business plans, they're going to be useless, and 30 days down the line, it's going to be completely different. So it's like, I don't like to spend time on those types of things. I would rather put my time and energy into just doing it and adapting, rather than saying, oh, we're going to do X, Y, Z, and then X doesn't happen, so then Y, Z is out the window. Yeah,
you spend all this time planning for it to not even, for everything to change mid-plan.
So I've never understood that. It's like analysis paralysis. You just got to start. Everyone always says, just start. That's like my best advice to anyone when they ask me. It's like, well, where do you start? Anywhere. Where do you think you should start?
I like that. I'm right. That's a slogan. That's like a motto. Start.
My nipples are hanging out though. I should have put on a shirt.
Sexy. Well, I think we've come to like a good stopping point.
Are we going to end on my nipples hanging out?
Well, we'll end on just start. I like the just start. It's a slogan. It's a campaign model. Like, and I think, you know, and then, cause then you fuck up, and then you figure out what you did wrong, and then you fix
learn.
it.
You don't stop. Yeah. You just keep going. It's, you know, you have to fuck up. Things have to go wrong so you can figure out how to make them not go wrong next time. It doesn't mean you just stop, you know? Yeah.
No, but never.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that we were finally able to like connect.
I know. It was a string of, it was the universe. It just wasn't the right time.
No, but it happened. It was a pleasant surprise. It was very fun to talk to you. Thank you very much for setting, aside this time.
No, thanks for asking me to come on. It was definitely not something I was expecting. Just because, the success mindset, it's like, well, it's so subjective, and it's almost like it's hard to embrace and accept success at times because you don't want to get complacent. So It's like you almost don't want to hear you don't want to hear praise, because then it's like, well, can I take a break then? Am I good? And it's like, no, I was going to keep going.
No, man, you're killing it, dude. You're doing great. Bro. And
no, you guys are too. It's always awesome. I love seeing everything you guys do. One of the probably most creative and authentic brands I think I've ever come across, honestly. And you've stayed that way since day one. So that's awesome.
Thanks, man. Well, thank you for coming on. If we can do it, we were fucking stoners and shit. We're making our life for ourselves. So if we can do it, you can do it out there. Okay.
Anyone can do it. That's it.
Just start.
Just start.
All right, man.
All right, Robert. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks. All right.
Okay. Bye. And that was fun. He was cool. I'd never met him, so it was cool to see him. He looked like just a cool dude, and he was a cool dude. And we're both doing what we can to make a living for ourselves and our families and stuff. So that's kind of what I try to bring to you on these podcasts. People who are living their dream or striving for their dream. And I assume that's maybe why you're watching this, or you want to see me and what I'm up to. And I appreciate that as well. So thank you again. This has been another episode of the Robert Patton Global Podcast. We'll see you next time.